Afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I thought I'd check in today with a quick lesson for parents or even students if the students want to watch. We're all stuck at home right now, and parents have suddenly become teachers. And so I'm sure a lot of people, I've had a couple of people talk to me about how do they get their kids writing. They just won't write. I did a lesson, if you look on my page, and maybe I'll review it here, of how to, first of all, just how to get your kids to pick or to come up with ideas for writing. And one of the quick ways I always do it is I always create a T-chart, and this might be backwards in this video. On one side, I'll write my love, things that I love. This is going to be backwards. But anyway, just to flip it in your brain that this is the word love. Over here are things that maybe I don't like, maybe not my favorite, and I'll write this as loathe, okay? So I have a love list, I have a loathe list. And so one thing I could write, Star Wars. If you know me, I like a lot of Star Wars. 2, I'm gonna write baseball. I miss baseball right now. 3, I like pizza, and then we'll stop there. Okay. For my loathe side, I don't like going to the dentist. Sorry to any dentist friends that are out there. Okay. Another thing I might not like, I don't like Brussels sprouts, so I'll write that on my loathe side. Okay. I'm going to stop there for right now. And I know for those of y'all that are watching, and this is backwards right now, but essentially what I always do is I like to kind of come up with an idea, get the kids to list things that they like, things that they don't like, and quickly, suddenly, you've got things that they can write about. Okay, I did a previous video on how to come up with ideas, and one of the ways to do is to take something that you combine, take something from the love list, combine it with the loathe list. I always do one where I'll do baseball because I like baseball. I'm missing baseball right now, and Brussels sprouts. Okay. So suddenly now you have this idea of baseball and Brussels sprouts. Okay, so if you're, this is probably flipped right now, but you just take that idea, you take two things and combine them together, baseball and Brussels sprouts. So now suddenly you've got this idea, and when I've done this lesson at schools and with other classes, you can have the kids take that idea of like, now these people are playing baseball with Brussels sprouts, or they have on their dinner plate, there is an actual game of baseball on the Brussels sprouts, maybe the fruits are playing the vegetables or the meats versus the vegetables, whatever. Okay. Now, let's say you're at home and you've gotten your kids to list something, and this gets to be hard. Now that you've actually got to get them started writing. So let's just say, looking on my list, I want to write about baseball. Okay. Okay. So you've gotten your child to write baseball. What about baseball? Is it their favorite team that they like? Is it their team? Do they play Little League? Who's their favorite player? That sort of thing. We got to get that narrowed down, because when you take a topic like baseball, and it could be anything, but for right now I'm going to pick baseball. Your topic's very broad, and so you want to narrow that down. Now here gets to be the problem. Well, not really a problem, but a different way of approaching it. Let's say if you have younger students at home, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids. A lot of times when talking with parents or with other teachers sometimes, they get afraid, they're not sure how to get them started. And one of the things I would recommend is drawing. Have the kids draw their paper, okay, or draw their ideas on the paper. So let's say if we have a younger student, and in this case, when we go back to the idea of baseball, it could be about the position they play, it could be about their favorite player, it could be about their Little League team, it could be about the time their dad, they went to a baseball game with their family. To help them get organized, in the county that I teach in, they always talk about like outlining, doing a sloppy copy, that sort of thing. For me, outlining can be drawing pictures. And I think a lot of parents and a lot of teachers miss that. We always want, sometimes I'll hear people talk, or teachers talk about how they try to get their kids to write first and then draw pictures. Well, if you're struggling to get your student to write, have them draw pictures. There's actually, if you look at history of all things, we know that Tolkien, who wrote The Lord of the Rings, one of the ways he organized his writing was he drew pictures of Middle Earth. And so to help him get organized in his writing. So you can do the same thing with kids. So let's just say I'm going to write about baseball. I'm going to write about time I went to the park with my dad. Okay, so that's my topic. So they've with dad. Okay, so that's what they've written. Okay, so there's my terrible handwriting, but I'm pretending to be an elementary school student right now. All right, now, if they're having, if you're teaching younger students and they're going to struggle, with spelling or whatever, or they're afraid to spell or they're afraid to write because they might get in trouble for spelling, again, just to get them organized, have them draw a picture. Okay, so again, I could be like, okay, so Dad and I got in a car, and I'm going to draw a picture of us going in a car. So there's us, okay? So we got in a car. So this is my first block. This is like my opening to my paragraph. Dad and I got in a car to travel to the park, okay? We got to the park, okay, and so like you can draw the stadium, all these people out there, I'm doing this very quickly. But the idea is that if you're struggling to get your kids to write or your students to write, or just to get them started, by all means have them draw a picture, especially the younger ones. So again, if I'm writing about baseball and I'm writing about a day that Dad and I went to the park, you start drawing, they draw, Dad and I got in a car. We got to the stadium. It was filled with people. We got our tickets. This is, again, I'm talking today just about getting yourself organized. Okay. So then a third part of our story would be we saw the game. Okay. All the people around. Okay. But this is supposed to be a baseball field in the side of a stadium, but this is their third thing. So far, Dad and I got in a car and we went to the park. We were at the outside part of the park. We got our tickets and we watched the game. We saw Harper hit a home run. Okay, so there's the ball traveling over the fence. There's Harper hitting the home run. So again, just to kind of get your students started, and again, this idea is really for those students that might be struggling to get themselves organized. Again, have them draw pictures, okay? Maybe like a comic book, but there's nothing wrong to help them get organized on their topic, whatever that topic is, to help them get organized, get their thoughts down, have them draw their pictures first, okay? And then from there, you could add your writing. So that was just a quick thing that we wanted to do. And then, how would I wrap it up? So Dad and I went to the park. We got in the car and drove. We went and got our tickets. We saw the game. Harper hit a home run. And then we draw the last picture. Dad and I came home. And again, we just draw the car. Dad and I drove the car, and we came home and we saw that. All right. And so just to help them get organized, you would have, if they're struggling, just get them to draw their pictures. Dad and I went in the car to the park. We were outside. We saw the park. We got our tickets. We watched the game. Harper hit a home run, and then we came home. So very quickly, 5 pictures can get them writing on a topic. Tomorrow I can do a lesson on, again, getting the next steps. But a lot of times, always when talking with parents or teachers, the struggle is getting them started. And so again, I'm a big fan. Have them draw. Get their thoughts organized first, and then they can start writing around it. Okay. So thank you guys that came in and saw this live. If you caught this later, wonderful. If you wouldn't mind sharing this or liking the page, shoot me a message if you have any questions. Hang in there with what we're going on, with what we're going through. I myself went out for a run before I did this. You know, if you're able to get out, get out. You know, wave to people from a safe distance. But if you're lucky enough to be able to get out, go for a run, go for a walk, go do it. You know, and so just hang in there. Message me if you happen to have any questions. And y'all, everybody have a good afternoon. Bye.